Hi, and thanks for joining us. In this episode, we're going to dive into integration platform as a service with one of our experts at Chakray to explore its capabilities and give you useful insights about this technology. Let's begin. I will start asking you, can you explain what iPaaS is and its importance in modern enterprise integration?
Integration platform as a service, also we call it as iPaaS. So iPaaS is a cloud platform that provides a set of tools and features and services that requires to build complex integrations between systems. So it could be used to integrate systems in public cloud, private cloud, on-premise or in a hybrid environment. So since it provides all the tools and features that required starting from configuring and building the workflows, as well as deploying and monitoring of the same complex workflows, it is a single environment that we can have all the features that we require to build our integration platform. So most of the time it goes with the pay-as-you-go model. So once you subscribe to iPaaS provider, so then you will have the environment to deploy your workflows. So you pay for what you use in the integration environment. So there are some reasons that it is important to have a iPaaS platform in an organization. So when you have iPaaS platform, so you have the advantage of faster go-to-market timeline, because with the iPaaS, with the simplicity of implementing workflows using the graphical user interface provided by most of the iPaaS providers. So you will have a shorter development life cycle. You can implement services very quickly compared to old standard ESB or like on-premise environment where we want to configure a lot of configurations to build the integrations. But in iPaaS, you will have that luxury of having very simple configuration, UI-based configurations that you can build workflows very easily. So with iPaaS, you can connect with databases, file systems, and many of the standard ERP systems and all other cloud-based services. Also, it provides set of connectors that you can use without much configuration. It wraps all the complex connectivity with those systems and simplify the configuration of those integrations with different systems. And some of the iPaaS providers also provide code management. That means you don't want to worry about maintaining code repositories on your own. It also, the iPaaS solution itself includes the code management as well. And most importantly, mapping tools. So if you take integration, so one of the most complex feature is the mapping. So if you have an input and if you have an output, you need to do the mapping to make it work, to make the integration flow works properly. So most of the iPaaS platforms, or almost all iPaaS platforms, provide comprehensive mapping tools that you can easily map inputs and outputs. It would be like a graphical interface-based tool, or it could be like a code-based tool, like you can configure using XML-like language, or you can use something like JavaScript. So that type of features are available for mapping. And also, if you take an integration platform, you need to have a proper monitoring and alerting mechanism. So when you deploy your integration in iPaaS, so that means everything in cloud, and also the monitoring and alerting also implemented with those iPaaS solutions. So we have like multiple iPaaS providers currently in the market, like Boomi, Vocato, Microsoft Azure Integration Services, MuleSoft, Oracle Cloud, and there are a lot more. So we can use any of these iPaaS providers to build the integration solution if we want to use iPaaS platform.
Thanks, Jagath. The second question is, what are the typical use cases or scenarios where iPaaS is most beneficial for organizations?
Yeah, so actually there are few use cases that we can use and get the actual benefit of iPaaS platform. The most obvious one and most common one is application integration. So there are multiple applications typically in an organization we want to connect together. So those applications may follow different protocols, they expose different protocols, and some of those are legacy applications, some of those are in cloud. So there are different scenarios, but still if we use a platform like iPaaS, so we can integrate those applications seamlessly using the single platform. And also there are some use cases with data integration. So your data may be in the databases, some of your data may be in files, raw files or Excel files. So you want to integrate those different types of data together, and maybe you need to upload those data into a cloud environment. So that type of data integration scenarios are there. So we can use iPaaS for that type of scenario as well. Also, if you have like a repeating jobs running daily, maybe running weekly, that you want to automate, so you can use iPaaS to automate business process using workflows within the iPaaS or scheduled jobs that we can implement in iPaaS using the features provided by the vendor. So you can easily automate those business processes. Even we can use iPaaS for B2B or e-commerce related integrations. So if we take cloud to cloud integration, that is the most easiest way to integrate, because iPaaS is a cloud service or cloud environment. So if your environment is, or if your other systems are also in cloud, it will be easy to integrate with. It may be in public cloud, it may be private cloud. That there's no issue. So we have features in iPaaS environments or iPaaS platforms that enables the connectivity between cloud systems. So it provides a lot of connectors, pre-built connectors with standard protocols that we can use to build these integration flows. So on the other hand, if your systems are in on-premise environment, so the iPaaS providers provide a solution for that as well. So even though your control plane is in cloud, you can have like agent kind of component that is installed in the local environment, where that agent or remote component will take care of the connectivity or the integration between your on-premise systems. So that's also possible. So it could be either cloud to cloud or cloud to on-premise. You can use the iPaaS for that scenario as well.
Okay, the next question is, how does iPaaS differ from different integration approaches like enterprise service bus or point-to-point integration?
Yeah, so if we take the traditional approach like point-to-point integration, or even after that, once the middle layer comes into the picture, it's with enterprise service bus. What we did was we normally deployed the integration components in on-premise environment. So when you deploy it in on-premise environment, what happens is typically you need to build that environment first. You need to supply the hardware or servers, then you have to do the networking, then you have to install the operating system, and on top of that, other tools that is required to run ESB and other software. Then after that only you can deploy the integration related components or install the integration related components. So as we understand, so there is a lot of human effort is involved in that operation. And also when you are running the system in production, there is like a dedicated trained staff is required to maintain that system. But in nowadays, what happens with iPaaS is it's a cloud service that we get after we subscribe, we get the service. The service provider of the iPaaS take care of all of those background work. That means managing the infrastructure, providing the infrastructure, networking, patching, and updating the software. Everything is taken care of by iPaaS provider. What we need to do is, once we subscribe, we will get the environment, and what we can do the whatever the implementation of the actual workflows on top of the platform. So that is the main difference with the traditional approach. And there are some other differences as well. So with the iPaaS, we have the scalability, very flexible way. So since most of the iPaaS systems are running in cloud service providers or cloud environments, so then scalability is inherited from underlying cloud services. So the scalability, if you take the traditional approach, if you want to scale out the ESB platform deployed in an on-premise environment, So we have to add hardware, add more hardware. So we have to add physical servers to scale it out. But if you take the cloud platform like iPaaS, so you don't need to do that kind of hard work. So you just configure how many instances that you require, or even if it is running a serverless manner, so you don't need to think about the scalability as such. So then it will automatically handle or automatically scale it out based on the load. And also there are some other features inherited from cloud environment when we are using an iPaaS. So it has high availability, failover, disaster recovery, and also backup mechanisms. So those are like a default features coming with cloud services. So then since the iPaaS also is a cloud service, so then all of those features are already there. So most of the iPaaS providers provide these features. Obviously you have to pay for that, for the usage, or there are different pricing mechanisms, but you can still have those features in place to make a better integration platform for your organization.
Can you mention any challenges that organizations might encounter when implementing iPaaS?
Yeah, so there may be multiple challenges. So if we can start with data and security challenges. So maybe your organization may have like a secured or sensitive data that is stored in your on-premise environment right now. So if you want to move it to the cloud, there may be regulations that stop doing it. So there may be restriction that you cannot move those data into a cloud environment. But still, if you take latest iPaaS solutions, we have some kind of workaround or some kind of solution for that, as I mentioned earlier. So we can run agent kind of remote components from the iPaaS platform in your on-premise environment, which it handles all the on-premise related integration. So then you don't want to move your data into the cloud, but still all the configurations, all the development of workflows and everything, basically the control plane is in the cloud, but your runtime will be in the on-premise environment where you cannot move your data because of the security restrictions. So other challenge would be change management. So since if your team is working in on-premise environment, maintaining it, like developing integrations on top of an on-premise environment, so if they want to move to a cloud environment, it would be like a totally different, even though it is easy to configure in cloud, but technology wise it would be a different technology. So there would be like a proper training and guidance is required within first few months or first few years once you move to the cloud environment. That would be the other challenge that you will face if you are moving to the cloud. Then other one is like a custom implementation. So if your system has like a very old implementation, the legacy implementation, which has a lot of custom code written on top of that, or custom business logics written on that. So then when we are migrating that system into a cloud solution using the features provided by iPaaS platform, there would be some challenges. But that's also easily resolvable with features provided by iPaaS, because most of the iPaaS solutions provide custom coding mechanisms using programming languages, different programming languages like C# or Java or JavaScript, or even using accessibility kind of mapping configurations you can do in most of iPaaS solutions. So that's also not like a blocker for moving to the cloud, but you can always have a workaround or solution for those challenges.
Okay, thanks, Jagath. The last question is, from your perspective, from your experience, what are some of the emerging trends or innovations in the iPaaS landscape that organizations should be aware of?
Yeah, so if we take the development of iPaaS platforms once it is started like 5 or 6 years back, so there are a lot of features added to the iPaaS platforms nowadays. So earlier at the initial stage it contained only integration related features, but if you take latest iPaaS platforms, it has some other features like API management or master data management, managed file transfers, Even microservices implementation related features are also there. So we would expect a lot more features to be added in the iPaaS platform in future. Also, there are some areas within the iPaaS platforms that the providers use artificial intelligence. So if you take a simplest example like Boomi Suggest, so if you do the mapping in Boomi, so once you give the input and output, so it will suggest you the mapping, the best possible mapping that it can do, that uses AI kind of technology to do that. So that's the simplest example. The other possible scenario is that the iPaaS providers might use AI for identifying potential failures or bottlenecks in the systems proactively using the data and the existing statistics that it can take from the platform, and even it can suggest solutions. So that type of scenarios will be there, or that type of features will be there in near future using AI technologies. And also most of the iPaaS providers will try to incorporate or provide features to integrate IoT and mobile related integrations into the platforms as well. So those will be like new trends that will come in iPaaS solutions near future. So we would expect a lot of new things will be happening there.
Thanks Jagath for this great information, and thanks to you for watching this video. We hope this helped to take the right decision to implement iPaaS in your business. Visit us at www.chakray.com for more interesting content. Stay tuned and see you soon.